job of putting multiple different defenders on them, giving them different looks. Nothing's come clean or easy for Martin Luther, especially for Xavier Jones.
I think that especially in the second half, Washington is taking that third and fourth defender, and they're sticking them in the paint. When Trey's getting ready to drive or Ace is getting ready to drive, they already have help waiting on them, telling Martin Luther players, hey, if you catch it, you're going to have to beat us. They're not going to allow Trey, they're not going to allow Ace, and they're not going to allow Xavier to beat them. So who else can step up for them? That'll be interesting.
Ball's loose. Martin Luther comes up with it. Traquan's on the break. 103 actually throws it up to Jones. A little too much. Rebound comes back to him. He turns it over, trying to get the ball to Ace. Looks like now Washington has turned the favor is going towards Washington right now. They have the momentum in the second half.
Yeah, the momentum is definitely on Washington's side. They've gotten a couple stops in a row. Plays have went their way down the stretch. Those 50-50 plays have started to go their way. So Martin Luther needs to get a stop.
Look for Long to take over. Try to go to the basket. That ball is knocked off and long. And that's, to me, right there is just a situation where he doesn't have his legs under him. Because once the season starts, he'll be way more explosive to go over the top of the defender.
Yeah, that's also a possession I think Xavier should have tried to flop and get that charge to try to get him in a little foul trouble. If they can get Long or Foster out of the game, they'll have a greater opportunity of winning.
Tough shot by Ace Evans with the left, floating and hanging in the air as he gets that basket to drop, cutting the lead to 2. Milwaukee Washington leads only 2, 40-38. Floater by Clay Foster with the offensive rebound. Looked like there could have been a foul on that play underneath.
He definitely missed that little push.
Here's Martin Luther. Here's Traquan dribbling.
Ace is about to try to go to work. He got his dance going right now. I can tell by the rhythm in his dribble, the bounce in his legs. He's dancing right now. So I guarantee you the next possession down, they come right back to him.
Foster shoots the 3, can't make it. Ace may be the best one-on-one player in the state of Wisconsin when it's time to get to the basket.
Hey, when it's time to dance, there's no one better than Ace. Vincent has a guy over there in Robert who's pretty good with dancing with that ball as well, but Ace, especially when he dances with that ball, once he gets that rhythm and he has that bounce and that look in his eyes, he's getting to that paint. Right now, I would say, if I'm guarding Ace, I'm going to give him a step or two, and I'm going to force him to have to go over the top of me and knock down that shot. I'm not saying that he can't shoot that shot, but I'm saying right now he's playing downhill so much that I'm going to have to force him to shoot a 3.
Yeah, and that's the scouting report. And a lot of these guys still developing their game, but you want to give them the 3 and still let them get all the way to the basket, because if these guys, if Traquan or Ace or even Xavier, they get all the way to the rim, it's going to be a long night for your defense.
That's a big foul on Long. He has 4 fouls now. So we'll see how long Freddie has to sit him. If you're Martin Luther, you have to make your run now.
Absolutely, right now.
If I'm Xavier Jones, I'm not chasing 15 out there on the perimeter. I'm in here and I'm helping on Foster. I will not let Foster beat me right now. Someone else will have to beat me.
Like you say all the time, the others from Milwaukee, Washington, like Trey, with the 3 right there knocked down, they have to be big. And this is a good coaching moment for Coach Riley to see who's going to step up. Who can I play once conference start play? When we know when the game's on line, you're not going to kind of fold under pressure.
Huge shot by Trey. He's stepping up, baby. He'll be that 3rd guy. Shante will be that 4th guy. But boy, Ace is dancing right now, baby. Ace is dancing.
He has it cooking right now. Ace is in the place to be with a nice acrobatic left-hand finish, making it 44-45. Another defensive turnover here, and here's Carrington with the finger roll.
Like my man Mark Jackson say about Ace, mama, there goes that man, because he's dancing right now. Nice defensive stop by Martin Luther. This could be trouble for Washington if they're not able to step up. But Cruz is a rhythm. He's shooting that thing from deep. I don't know if Freddie liked that shot. I think he would like to get it inside first to Foster, then outside.
Good block by Foster right there. His second block by Foster, short his defensive press. And 3rd block by the 6'5", sophomore.
Get it to him. Get it to him running the floor.
That's what you say. No,
He's shooting this one. He's shooting this one.
Pull up jump shot, a little short.
And if I'm Martin Luther, I'm getting it to Ace. I'm dropping it 1-4 set. One of Tom Dieter's favorite plays and saying, go to work. Go to work. But if I'm Washington defensively, I am in those gaps, and somebody else going to have to beat me. But he's dancing. Look, he's dancing. Traquan, big shot. Hey, they're going to have to beat us from the perimeter.
Yes, and if you're Milwaukee, Washington, that's the shot you're working with, because when you don't have to help off the offensive players, because Martin Luther, those are not great shooters. They're not spraying the court with Kyle Covers and J.J. Riggs out there. So you can kind of help sag off your man, and then you can recover with a hand up. And as you see, Martin Luther's not knocking down a three-pointer. Now, Joey's in the game. If Joey, what number is that? If Joey, number 24, if he's in the game for those guys, that's a different. Joey Endicus, that's the guy you got to stay home on.
But he becomes a defensive liability too, I believe. With the type of athletes that he's facing tonight.
Foster.
Nice pass.
Jimmy King. Foster trying to go over the top. And dunk the ball. Not successful. Would have blown the house down with that one. And here comes Martin Luther. And like you said, they're doing a lot of 1-4, spreading Washington out, making you guard on the island by yourself.
Foster starting to impose his will as well. Get him the ball down.
Ace in the corner for three, and that's what you want.
They got to beat you from the perimeter right now.
And that might be the Achilles heel for Martin Luther all season long, where Washington has some couple shooters on their team where you can't sag. And big Jimmy Brown Jr. goes strong, but who's there? Martin can't make it. He goes up. Jimmy's there again, and he connects, giving Washington 47-46. And here's Ace going to the basket, draws the foul on Cruz on the ground.
You got to load the box, man. You got to have that backline defense. There cannot be easy layups right now. As you see, Foster defensively is starting to impose his will. He's blocking everything. That's because the offensive player that he's guarding isn't really a threat. And if you're guarding guys on the perimeter right now, you have to take those gaps away and make them drive, draw, kick to have to knock down threes. Great finish by Xavier, great find on an out-of-bounds play. And
Foster off balance shot, nothing but the bottom of the net. This guy is amazing tonight.
And it's the same thing with Martin Luther. If I'm Martin Luther right now, I might run two. I might run two at Foster. Traquan with that change of direction, man. Set him up going right, crossed him going back left, finished it high off the glass. Great finish by Traquan. This is an exciting game right here.
Back and forth we go, 50-49. Martin Luther takes the 1-point lead. Remember, folks, Washington, they're one of their studs. Foster pulls up a little short. Their stud, Long, is on the bench, 4 fouls. But Washington is still playing great basketball without one of their superstars on the court.
Again, this is just the second or third game of the season for some of these guys. So what's happening right now with Coach Riley and Coach Wallerstein is that they're getting an opportunity to coach guys up. They're getting an opportunity to see what guys can bring in this type of atmosphere. Coach Riley is seeing those young guards that he has step up and compete against these seniors. And Wallerstein is seeing how tough his team is right now. His bigs competing against Foster and Long. They're isolating Foster on the side. Nice up and under.
This is a shot. Rebounds his own. This is the kid I want to see attacking the rim, going after his own shot, and making things happen.
You can't give Trey the left-hand drive. Nice finish by Xavier. One of these teams have to adjust defensively to what the opposing team is doing. You wonder how much this may be taken out of Foster, having to not only be the facilitator, but also be the main guy scoring. We saw him just take a long shot there. But again, these kids play all the time, so I think he'll be okay. I think Coach Riley will utilize his timeouts properly to get breaks for him until he can get Long back into the game.
Free throw made right there by number 0. Jamarcus McCown knocks down the free throw, tying the game up at 52-52. This is going to be, how long can Washington weather the storm with Long on the bench? They're doing a great job. Looked like that might have been a timeout call by Milwaukee, Washington. I think that's a full timeout here at South Division at the Terry Porter Classic. Milwaukee, Washington tie game with Milwaukee, Washington down 52-53. 53-52. We'll be back after this break. Brothers Auto has been serving the community close to 20 years in business, and its sales team has a combined 200 years of knowledge throughout the dealership to help put you in the right car. Hanson Brothers Auto is family owned and well respected around the greater Milwaukee area. Hanson Brothers Auto offers a service department also. So stop in and let Hanson Brothers put you in the car you deserve.
As a fitness expert, I've trained normal clients and athletes for multiple years, and I designed the perfect fitness program for you. This is ASF Baller Fitness. Whether you're the normal client getting ready for a marathon, or you just want to look great and get yourself in shape, or if you're the basketball athlete and you're looking to get conditioned for the upcoming season, work with ASF Baller Fitness, because this is the program just for you.
All right, welcome back to the Terry Porter Classic here at South Division, where Martin Luther is taking on Milwaukee, Washington, 52-53. You're listening to and watching the Athlete Live Network. Greg Hart here alongside my partner, Jose Winston. This has been a game that we expected from the beginning. They have not disappointed us, as this game will go down to the wire, and like you said, it might come down to one possession.
Yeah, you got to shorten the court on Traquan right now. You got to shorten the court on Ace right now. You got to keep them on one side and force them to have to score over defense. Great move by Xavier, driving on Foster, being able to hit the little runner. He showed some different dimensions in his game that he hasn't had, that he didn't have early in his career, but as a senior, showing you that he can do multiple things. Great move. Oh! Little shake and bake by Foster. Right now, the defender does not want to guard him. He does not want to guard him. They may have to switch that defensive assignment up and put Jones on him.
And now Traquan in the corner, setting up the offense. Back and forth game. Michael Foster has been everything we expected him to be. Martin Luther's going to run some clock. They're still going to do the ISO. Tough pass. Goes off of Martin Luther, goes to Milwaukee, Washington. 55-54. We have ourselves a great one here on the Athlete Live Network, one of the only streaming networks in the state of Wisconsin, bringing you top games from high school to college and some of the best talent around the Wisconsin area.
Looks like Coach Riley has gotten Long back into the game. Great job by all the guys who have come in off the bench to weather the storm of Martin Luther until one of their big guys got back in. Right now, if I'm Washington, I'm going to Foster. I am going to Foster. No one else right now is touching it, maybe besides that guy.
Long, right on cue. Long hits the three, giving Washington a 58-54 lead. This will be an impressive win if Washington can beat this team, just because they had a tough game last week against Racine Park. Now they're going up against another top team in the state, in Division III that it is, and Martin Lutheran. But Washington is being battle-tested early on this early season, in this very young season.
Well, it builds mental toughness for the young guys, especially for those guys that haven't maybe played in that state championship game. It builds that mental toughness for them. But Martin Luther's going to have to make free throws down the stretch. Foster has a guy smaller than him. They're going to have to get it to him. Nice dive. He wants it right now, too. He's moving with that bounce and that look in his eye.
Facing this man up. Defensive help right there by Ace.
Ace may dunk this on him.
But Foster goes and he draws the foul.
Great gap help by Ace, just the way you teach it in your shell drill. Great gap help. See Coach Hines down there fired up. Dr. Wallerstein from his Dominican days. Coach Hines, who is a Hall of Fame coach, won 3 state championships at Milwaukee Vincent
Coaching
on the girls' side.
Yep.
Just an all-around great guy. Nice to see him back in MPS working as well after a brief move out of town.
He also had a stop at Homestead, helped revive that program these years there. And so, yes, both benches, when you look at it, especially when you look at the side for Martin Luther having Jamar, that's watching, when you're having Hines, and you also have Mike McGivern, who's been coaching boys basketball for 30-plus years, and then you have an up-and-coming coach, the went to Milwaukee Tech, Torrey McKinnis. I always mispronounce his last name, but a guy who in a couple years, I can see him getting maybe a job somewhere either in the city or somewhere around the Milwaukee area.
Torrey's a phenomenal coach. He loves the game. He works his tail off. He was an awesome basketball player, and he's a great guy as well.
And here goes Clay with a three-pointer, no good. Long tries to save the ball, runs it to our camera guy, but he stays on his feet. Good action, kicks it out. Long stays in the action, gets the rebound, back off to Clay. Clay for 3, it's good.
Nice shot by Clay, being ready to shoot, knowing your role, understanding your role.
Ace, good help by Evans. Like Trey gets the steal, and Milwaukee Washington started to take control of this game. 61-57, under 5 minutes to go in the second half. Long looking for isolation play right here. Pick it to Clay. Clay for 3, a little short.
I think Washington got to be careful with shooting so many threes so early. You know, so many threes so early right now. Get it into Long. There's 4 minutes, 26 seconds left in the second half. Every time we've touched the paint and kicked it out, we've been able to knock those threes down. So don't take quick threes. Understand time and score right now.
And there's Traquan Creighton going to the basket. He got fouled. That's a bonus situation. And he goes for 1-and-1, knocks down the first. Washington has 9 fouls, 5 only for Martin Lutheran. So Martin Lutheran has a couple fouls to give before they're in the bonus situation. Free throws, well, like you said, free throws, which team can make their free throws and which team can take care of the basketball will be a big decisive who wins this game.
This is definitely the game we've been waiting on. This is the game that we've been wanting to see, and this game has lived up to the billing. These young men have left it out there on the court.
And as a coaching standpoint, how is this coaching? Is the coaching in this game?
Well, the coaching, you know, when you're coaching in this type of environment, you know, you're managing your timeouts, you're managing your personnel, but you got to trust that your players going to leave it out there on the court. And these guys are so talented that they've been waiting for this game. So you got to allow them to be players as well.
Bruce called with a travel, but he's saying that someone held his arm. I kind of think he's right on that one. 59. This is almost one of those games when you're playing in a tournament-style environment that no one has a home court. It's a neutral site. Both fans you don't have an advantage from a fan standpoint. Turnover by Martin Luther. Ball goes back to Milwaukee, Washington. 59-61, 4:03 left in the second half.
I think at this juncture of the game, what I would do is kind of what Freddie and what Long just did. I would put Cruz on the wing. I would put Shante on the wing because those guys are really good shooters, and I would force Long to have to come down and make plays, be the playmaker.
All right, timeout called on the floor. Milwaukee Washington up 61-51. Coach, this is one of those possessions with 4 minutes left. Who has the advantage going down? Even though Washington played last week, who has the advantage in the last 4 minutes?
Well, I think it's going to come down to turnovers. It's going to come down to shot selection. It's going to come down to free throws. I think right now, if I'm Washington being up, I'm not going to force the three-point shot. But what I will do, I'm going to put Cruz more on the wing. I'll put Shante on the wing. And I'm going to continue to let Mike Foster and Long work the high pick and roll because Long seems to be making some really good decisions off of that.
All right, we got 4 minutes left in the second half. We'll see what goes on. Back to the action on the court. Long brings the ball up. 59-61. Take light, Sean. Long isolation at the top of the key. They're playing a three-man weave.
Dribble weave into a high ball screen, trying to get them to gamble. High screen and roll. It's a great possession by Washington. Just didn't finish, but got a great look by Long. And again, that's that finish. I'm telling you, a month from now, he's going to finish those. But that was a great possession. Took some time off the clock. Got it into the guys' hands that they wanted it to be in. And now Ace is about to get freaky with it.
If you're Milwaukee, Washington, did you play off all the shooters? Because it seems like Martin Luther is not able to knock down any three-point shots. Are you playing off daring them to shoot a three?
I'm playing off. I'm giving them all a step. I'm closing the gap help. They're going to have to pass off of that gap help, and they're going to have to pass to either Harrison or they're going to have to pass to King, and one of those guys are going to have to score. But I'm not going to allow Xavier, Traquan, or allow Ace to get downhill on me and score, getting into the paint. But that's easier said than done.
This time last year, this is where Long made his money. When they needed a basket, a big bucket, Long came up strong. Like we said, he's still working his way back into basketball shape. But Washington's comfortable enough, feels comfortable to keep the ball in his hand and make him make the decision.
And if I'm Martin Luther, if it's anybody other than Foster setting that high ball screen, if it's Jonte setting that high ball screen, I'm going to trap that, and I'm going to trap it hard to make that have to go back to Jonte and make Jonte have to make a play. This is an interesting substitution by Martin Luther. They're going a little smaller.
Into the game right now is for Martin Luther's number 3, Darius Crawley-Reed, and they have him listed at 5'10" senior guard. If he's 5'10", you gotta be 6'2" right now.
Yeah, he's a great running back. Obviously, you can tell by his build, he's a great running back, and he's tough as nails. So he's gonna get in there. He's in there to defend. He's in there to make things difficult for one of Washington players.
Now both teams are in the bonus. The next foul from here on out, we'll be shooting 1-on-1 situations. As now Martin Luther's going to the line, and number 4, that is Xavier Jones. We're going to shooting 1-on-1. Double bonus for actually from here on out for Martin Luther.
Again, we talked about earlier how we think the final 2 minutes or so will come down to turnover, shot selection, and free throws.
First one's up, in and out. Can't connect on the first free throw. One more left. This is a big free throw. He can make this cut in the lead to just 1 if he can knock down this free throw. Second one's up and no good. He misses both free throws, but Martin Luther with the rebound. Harrison with the rebound, goes up strong. We're all tied up at 61 apiece.
What a huge rebound by Harrison. Mental breakdown by Washington by not boxing out. If Jonte is setting that screen, trap it hard, trap it hard.
Long needs to get rid of a little too much dribbling. This is where Foster needs to flash to kind of make himself presence. Or if you put Long on the block, there's no one stopping him either.
Yeah, but what Martin Luther is doing is they're trying to force somebody else other than Foster or Long to catch that ball. With Jonte setting that screen, I'm going to have Xavier press up, send him into that screen where I can trap him and make Jonte have to get that ball back. Right now, I would not leave Xavier on the island, but turnover by Long because he never put the ball down on the ground. Xavier got close enough into that area where it was a 5-second call.
It looked like Milwaukee Washington was content of maybe going for one shot to kind of take the air out the ball. Substitution by Milwaukee Washington. A full timeout Martin Lutheran, maybe they might set some up where they might get the last shot. So we've got to go to timeout. We're going to go to break. You're watching the Athlete Live here at the Terry Porter Classic. Tie game here, Milwaukee, Washington, and Martin Lutheran. We'll be back. You're listening to The Athlete.
Trusted Kicks is a place where you can buy, sell, and trade sought-after sneakers. You can find us in the heart of downtown Milwaukee. We buy Jordan Retro sneakers along with other exclusive models such as Kanye West Yeezy shoes and many others. Make sure to stop in and check us out at 532 North Water Street or visit us at our website, which is www.trustedkicks.com.
Welcome to the Kings Collection, a luxury line exclusively for men. Shop now at Kings, K-I-N-G-Z, PalaceMenSpa.com.
And welcome back to the Athlete Live here at South Division High School at the Terry Porter Classic. We're in a good one. Milwaukee, Washington taking on Martin Lutheran, all tied up 61 apiece with less than a minute 30 left in the game. Martin Lutheran just came out of timeout. Let's see what they run out of this timeout.
Looks like Martin Luther gonna get it in the hands of Traquan and they're getting it in the hands of Ace, but it looks like they're going for the last shot. They're going into their little dribble weave. Oh wow!
Wide open shot. What is he
doing?
Rebound comes back to Martin Lutheran, and that's the shot if you're Milwaukee, Washington. That's what you want them to do. Traquan kicks it back out to 24. King passes the ball. Now they got the ball to the Ace. Ace is about to make it happen at the top of the key.
They're not running up on Ace. Ace is gonna dance with it. Ace is gonna dance with it. This is what the crowd wants to see. The crowd is up. This is what Freddie wants to see. This is what Coach Wallershine wants to see. Freddie wants to see if they can get a defensive stop. If I'm Washington right now, there's you cannot let him get to any creases. Close the creases up. Force Martin Luther to have to shoot a jump shot. Don't go too early, son.
Good block by Long, and Long now is on the attack. He has the rock. Man open in the corner.
Foster's into this.
I think Long.
Oh, he got a small guy on him too.
You go to Foster, 6. He goes, pull up, top of the key. Good pass by Foster. Misses the layup. We go to overtime. Great pass by Mike Foster.
I thought that was bad execution down the stretch by Martin Luther, just because I think Traquan took the shot too early. I thought offensively, great execution by Washington, and I know people are upset that Jonte missed that layup, but what a great unselfish play by Michael Foster. It shows you what type of player he is. He's a selfless type of player. Great. I mean, Jonte got a wide open layup. He missed it. Things happen, but you hope that doesn't bother that young man going into overtime, because he's been doing a great job defensively for Washington.
If you're Martin Luther, what do you want to see in this overtime right now? Because Milwaukee, Washington got what they wanted and down the stretch. It was a Foster or Long combination. Foster made the great pass, like you say. Martin couldn't finish it. Who's the momentum going in this overtime? Who has the momentum in overtime?
I think right now Martin Luther may have the momentum just because emotionally Washington was ready to celebrate off of that layup, and unfortunately that young man missed that shot. So I think right now if Washington wins this jump ball, they need to go into that high screen and roll with Foster and Long and not have Jonte or anyone else setting that high screen and roll, because if they set it, Martin Luther is trapping it right away, because they don't believe the other guys can score on them.
All right, let's get back to the action. Overtime just started. 4 minutes to decide. Free basketball. Let's get back to action. And Long knocks down the 3, and Milwaukee, Washington takes a 2-pointer. They're going to say, like.
Great shot by Long. Confidence.
They're going to make room. That was a 3. 64-61. Big time basket, and Long was like, I should have got the ball at the beginning. Traquan Carrington, the senior guard, 5'10", goes up strong to the basket.
You're seeing some big-time plays being made by big-time players, and this overtime is going to be back and forth. Got to be careful. Long will raise up again on that.
And I like it if you keep the ball in those three guys' hands, Long, Foster, and Trey. Those are the people who've been making plays all game long, and Foster's on the block. Let's see what he got for us. Step back, cannot connect. Here's
a great move. Great move. A nice way for him. You know, this is what we've been calling for him. He started to do it in the second half more. Obviously, he understands the game so well. He decided that I'm going to post up and I'm going to dominate.
King with the rebound, offensive putback.
Nice move by Trey. Obviously, he's drawing so much attention and forces Foster or whomever else is guarding King to have to come over. And even though he missed, King is a 6'6" guy, able to get it and finish it.
Jones is going for the steal, comes up a little short, and Foster's going to line shooting a 1-on-1 situation. Now, folks, this is anytime you get a big type of game, a lot of times it's hard to live up to, especially beginning of the year, you get some blowouts. This is coming down to the wire, giving us extra time, some overtime. Now, but for Long, he's playing with 4 fouls. He has to be very careful in this overtime not to pick up the 5th, because it'll be a lot easier for Martin Luther to kind of double down on Foster if Long's not in the game. First free throws up by Long, can't make connect.
Martin Luther's going to spread it here. Well, we thought they would last time. Xavier challenging the big fella.
And Foster with a big-time block. That's probably his 4th block on the year. Timeout called by Martin Luther. They want to discuss it. 30-second timeout. And so this is what both teams, when you put this game on your calendar back in the fall or back in last season, you expected both teams to be good when it came to this game. And both teams can take from this game going forward, because now you have an overtime game in a playoff-style situation, hostile environment, the crowd there. If you're a coach, this has got you can build off this going forward.
Yeah, you want to see this. You want to see how your team execute down the stretch. I thought in regulation, when Martin Luther looked like they were going for that one shot, Trey went too early. I thought in regulation, Foster had a great opportunity to make a play, and he did. He made an unselfish play to Jonte, and unfortunately, he wasn't able to finish it. So we'll see with this 2:23 left in the second half, in overtime, who can execute best. Martin Luther being up 1, I'm interested to see what they come out and do. They may come out in a little stall to force Washington to have to foul them, knowing that they're shooting 2 free throws if they get fouled.
Out of bounds play. Martin Luther has to get it in. Forced to call the timeout. Great defense by Milwaukee, Washington. Forcing Martin Luther to use the timeout. This is another 30-second timeout by Martin Luther. And so now let's see what the Coach Wallerstein draws up coming out of this timeout. It looks like he wanted to get the ball in, but also score. Can you catch Washington sleeping in this situation? Washington has to play great defense. Remember, Long has 4 fouls. He doesn't want to foul. Do you put a matchup situation where you make Long guard the ball and attack him?
Well, yeah, you try to put them in a high screen and roll with either Trey or Ace and see if they'll switch off of it. And if they do switch, you got to drop and allow them guys to be creators. But Washington has to understand that if they do get that, if the switch does happen, they have to take away gap help, and they have to load the back line where they could either take a charge or maybe Foster can come over and get a block. But Martin Luther doesn't have to force anything right now because they're winning by 1.
1-point lead with 2:23 to go in overtime. And this has been a game that we not expecting overtime, but we'll take the free basketball as Traquan Carrington has Trey out in an isolation situation, passes the ball to Evans, and Evans has Washington's best defender, Martin, on him. He gives it up. They're going to be fine with taking some time off the clock, but you got to make sure you don't get a 5-second call here. Evans try to make a tough pass into King. Turnover by Martin Luther. Now another tough pass, but Foster loses the handle of it as he puts the ball down. Little body by Milwaukee, Washington, turning the ball over.
2 turnovers right back to back. One by Martin Luther, one by Washington. We have to understand these young men have been playing a lot of minutes as well. It's early in the season, so conditioning comes into play a little bit. I do like the fact that they trust Xavier out there with the ball. Don't go too early, son. He's not guarding you. There's no count. Come get the ball back. Somebody got to get it from King.
King was not afraid to make the play, but rightfully so, passed the ball, and they got it back to their dancer, Ace. Ace passes back to King. They almost not even guarding King. And it looks like Martin Luther's going to be content with wasting some time, getting another good shot. They have the lead.
Long can't foul here.
And right
I
now,
would maybe foul Harrison. He hasn't went to the line and knocking his shots down. It's not a good shot by Trey.
you don't have to take the shot right now. You're up by 1. Foster in a fast break. A blocking foul called on Harris. Foster will go to the line, shooting a 1-and-1 with his team down 1, 65-64. And let's see if the sophomore can connect with these free throws, giving his team a lead.
What we talked about earlier, we talked about turnovers. Okay, we've seen both teams make some turnovers down the stretch. We talked about free throws. We've seen both teams miss some free throws, but they're getting to the line. And the other thing we talked about was shot selection. And as we just saw, it wasn't a great shot by Trey. A shot that you want early in the game, even in the second half, but not when you're up 1 with 55 seconds left.
Yeah, if you're Foster knocks down the free throw, but if you're Jonte Martin, what you want is Foster to kind of help him get this lead back for your team, because that young fella has to be kind of sick. He missed that layup, an opportunity to redeem himself as Foster knocks down the free throw, giving his team a 1-point lead, 66-65.
I think you got to get it in the Ace hands right now. Either Ace or Traquan. Xavier will drive it, but he has a longer, athletic guy on him than Foster. But
And Ace goes to the basket, connects with the shot, giving Martin Luther a 1-point advantage, 67-66, 28 seconds, and Longs at the top of the key. Timeout called by Milwaukee, Washington. They want to talk it over. This game is what we expected. Big shots, both teams living up to the moment, and a big-time basket right there by Xavier Jones, giving his team a 1-point lead, 67-66.
Xavier wanted it. He wanted it. Instead of deferring to Trey or deferring to Traquan or deferring to Ace, he decided to keep it himself. And that's that three-headed monster that Martin Luther has. They've played a lot of basketball in their 4 years at Martin Luther. They've seen and played in every environment possible. So this moment for them isn't too big. They relish in this type of moment. Same thing with Washington. I think Freddie's going to come out. He may go for the last shot, or he may have them attack with about 12 seconds or so to try to get a basket. I believe that he may even try to get something going to the basket for either Foster or Long.
And right there you see Paul Waterstein calling something up in the huddle for his Martin Luther team. Probably telling his team, don't foul, play great defense, and keep everything in front of you. We'll see how they execute that as they come out this break. But if you're Milwaukee, Washington, you got to have the ball probably in Foster or long hand coming down the stretch.
Absolutely. And if I'm Martin Luther, I'm leaving Jonte, but I got to be aware of his offensive rebounding skills. I'm trying to deny Long right now, and I'm trying to give extra help on Foster, but understanding Cruz is definitely capable of knocking the shot down, as he's shown all night, along with Clay. But looks like they're going to go to that high-low set. They're going to try to get Long into the post, where he's going to go to work.
Long trying to make a pass. Ill-advised pass by Long. And Martin Luther comes up with the steal. Traquan Carrington will be at the free throw line, shooting a double bonus. In that situation, Long probably should have held it a little bit longer. Making a cross-court pass in traffic, that's a tough pass.
Yeah, it is, but he's trying to be unselfish. But that turnover there doesn't hurt you. It forces Martin Luther to go down and have to make both free throws to go up 3. But you still got 9.9 seconds left to draw up a play or to come down and try to tie the game up. But these are pressure free throws for Trey.
Knocks down the first free throw, making it 68-66. Second one to give Martin Luther a 1-point lead with under 10 seconds to go. 9.9 on the clock. If Martin Luther makes his free throw, Washington's not going to call a timeout initially. Almost is still there by Washington. An opportunity comes down long. He's going to pull up for three, top of the key. He's off. No good. And Martin Luther gets the 69-66 win, defeating the Rebels. And the final score here is 60. No, just one. Final score here is 69-66. Milwaukee, Washington falls to Martin Luther 69-66. And Jose Winston is going to bring over Xavier Jones as he made a big-time layup to give his team the win. Both teams fought well, so you got to understand this is what high school basketball is all about right there. So you got to love the opportunity of these two teams fighting hard. Mike Foster Jr. had an opportunity, was going to win the game, passed the ball up to Dante Martin. Martin couldn't finish the shot, sent the game into overtime, and now we're going to see what we can do when we get these two teams playing basketball. So great score here, 69-66 was the final score here. Milwaukee, Washington has a long season ahead of them. We'll be able to see what both teams are made of as we go.
you.